Welcome back to the ReGen Invitational number 2. I am back again, your host CatPeach, with my lovely assistant Probius. Probius, how you doing? I'm good to hear, buddy. I am excited for this next game on the stream today. Next up, we are going to have Heroes of the United States versus Modo Miracle. Sorry for the delay in the stream, but we're all set now. We just had some lobby technical difficulties. But we are all set there. As I stated before, in our first game, we are currently in the round of 32, best of ones. Take a look at the bracket. Maps were voted on by the team, so for the round of 32, all games will be played on Infernal Shrines. Later on, we'll go on to Volskaya Foundry and then to Tomb of the Spider Queen. But for now, it looks like our teams are ready to get this show on the road. So let's start this shindig. I know we're a little bit late. So without further ado, let's get on to Infernal Shrines for our next game. Now here's the United States I have casted before in the Nexus Gaming series, who is partnered with ReGen for this invitational that you are watching today. Thank you everyone for coming out to support these teams, and also Murda, Jason, Swing, Professor Bobo, thank you for those raids. Everyone joining in, hope you are ready for this next game to kick off. And we immediately see two bans that I often see in my own games, taking out that Chromie and that Rainer. Even with those Rainer what was it? What am I saying? I just lost my train of thought. I apologize. Even with those Rainer nerfs that came through, still fairly ban-worthy. We did see in game number 1 versus Bad Manners and ReGen Blue, that amazing comeback that happened later in the game. Followed up by Urel coming out from Modo Miracle. Alex Straza, now ban-worthy. The support that hardly ever showed. Now with those changes to Life Binder, making her pretty ban-worthy, pretty first pick-worthy. We're getting a Diablo on the side of Heroes of the United States. Dahaka, Decker, Kane being picked up for ReGen Blue. Dahaka with that amazing wave clear, being able to have that global presence, being able to come into those fights only when needed. Decker Kane able to also disable enemy heroes. The Phoenix Thrall combination over here. Phoenix's Purification Salvo followed up with, or matched up rather, with the Thrall Earthquake. Makes for a devastating conversation. Or combination. Not conversation, but this is a nice conversation that we're having about this draft right now. I'm surprised by this Rhaegar ban, and I suppose simply the dive, the appearance of Ancestral Healing is something that Modo Miracle does not want to deal with. We're gonna have to see who they follow up with. They still need damage, and they still need a main tank. We're going to see Murden followed up with a Kerrigan. Hello? That Kerrigan pick, though. What is even happening? Going to be able to prance down, possibly on that Thrall, possibly on that Phoenix. Potions coming out from Deckard to support. Malfurion and Tassadar. Double support for Heroes of the United States. And with a Hanzo follow-up from Modo Miracle, we've got ourselves a draft. And hello, Probius? Were you... Kerrigan, what? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, you've got a little bit more experience with Kerrigan than I personally do, so those feelings are absolutely valid from your side. Very easily punishable, I would say. She's a very squishy character, but is insanely deadly. So you are going to have to watch out for that goodness damage that she has pouring out there. But we have a bit more of a tried and true composition on the side of Heroes of the United States. HOTUS, if you will, as her name is a bit too long to fit into our layout. So this game could really go either way. Without further ado, let's kick off right into this. Best of one on the left blue side. We have Heroes of the United States. We have Watson on Diablo. We have Fish Drowner on Thrall. Blaze on Phoenix. Jub on Malfurion. And Andrew on Tassadar. And in the red, with a very kind of risky composition, we have Modo Miracle. Kerrigan will be played by Barode. Adon on Hanzo. Sir Sean Sheep will be Decker Kame. Ghost Dunk on Murden. Zombie Chris lurking around as Dahaka. Get y'all a better view of this map here. Now, also to note is that Hanzo also experienced a little bit of a nerf. The vision with his arrow. Reduced radius and reduced vision time. Still very powerful, but not as strong as it used to be. Tassadar immediately going to clear this lane, which, as a secondary support, adding additional shields on top of the shields that some members already have on the side of HOTUS. Gonna keep them alive longer. Also a great wave clearing support character. So being able to help with those shrines, really control them, really get those skeletal defenders down in favor of their team. Something to keep an eye on. Very fast rotations coming out from both sides of these teams. And keep your eye on the road. There is a reset to that Q when enemies go down, which allows Kerrigan to very quickly clear these shrines for sure. Right now, both teams just trying to keep up in experience. Here's the United States already working on the siege camp on their side of the map. And Watson keeping an eye out, being able to passively soak up those souls that Diablo so desperately needs. More souls, the more beefy of a boy your Diablo definitely is. So siege camp over here in response from Modo Miracle. And I appreciate, the thing with Kerrigans, a lot of the times, is that right in the beginning of the game, the Kerrigan will try to be as aggressive as possible. And Murad, very patient, not diving in too soon. Making sure they're not giving up deaths early in the game. There's a lot of late game power on the side of Modo Miracle. So giving up death early, no team really wants. First shrine can be over in the mid lane. Watson going in on Marode, who ends up leaping onto Andrew. Ends up with the stun, however, Watson flips Marode. And as we talked about, Kerrigan, so soft, so squish, ends up being the first blood of the game. And that is exactly what Murad has to be out for, is knowing that there's not a lot of escape for Kerrigan. You've got slows from Deckard, and you've got healing potions galore, so long as they're available, but Kerrigan's in a really precarious position if she ends up being flipped. HOTUS now going to be able to start this shrine first, getting a little bit of a head start on their own skeletal defenders. Members of Modo Miracle are going to move in. Ghost Dunk trying to get Fisher Drowner. The Haka ends up able to scoot away. The members of Modo Miracle trying to get a kill. Tongue goes out onto Watson, and the members of Modo Miracle end up focusing down Diablo, who was able to stay alive just barely, not for too much longer, as they are going to go down. Now the members of Modo Miracle are looking a little bit low. His healing potions need to start coming out from Deckard. Up that a bit. The members of HOTUS trying to poke down as many skeletal defenders away from their opponents so they don't get this Punisher as quick as they possibly could. But this is going to be Arcane Punisher, #1 of this game, going over to Modo Miracle. We already see Dahaka going up top. Soak a little bit more as this Punisher barrels its way through the mid lane. It is an early game Punisher, so not as strong. However, we did see last game the first Punisher of the game take down a keep. So who knows what Modo Miracle will be able to grab this first Punisher, but it looks like not as much. That Punisher is looking incredibly low, and only the gate is down. Stuns onto Watson. Members of Modo Miracle going to start backing away. Play the safe game, not push way too far. Also, keeping things in check down in this bottom lane. Andrew coming down to soak yet again. And HOTUS immediately rotating, grabbing those camps, trying to create some kind of map pressure to keep Modo Miracle on their toes. Murad lurking around, trying to see where they might be able to get a pick. Spawning siege camp being worked on for Modo Miracle. And experience dead even right now for both of these teams. Even after a Punisher. Again, we talked about early Punisher, you're not going to get too much of a lead. Let's go up to this kerfluffle. Watson yet again being focused by Modo Miracle. Scattering arrow comes out, but Diablo able to dodge. And all members of Modo Miracle staying together fairly well, allowing Dahaka to be that pressure, allowing Hanzo to use that bit of mobility that he does have to soak this bottom lane. So far, not too bothered by the pressure that HOTUS has been trying to build. We do have Thrall's quest, Echo of the Elements, already completed, which is great for him. With that camp going to the side of Modo Miracle, both teams are approaching level 10. It should be fast approaching, closer for here's the United States. But it doesn't mean that Modo Miracle is too far behind. So this next shrine in the bottom lane, I expect is going to be incredibly brawly once the 10 hits for both teams. There's not going to be too much of a window for HOTUS to really take advantage of that level 10 advantage. So we are seeing Earthquake with that Purification Salvo. As we talked about in the draft, we have Archon coming out for that Tassadar. Diablo holding on for a little bit more. Level 10's now hit for both teams. Modo Miracle. Avatar. Isolation coming out for Dahaka, being able to silence targets. Super valuable to cause chaos in a team fight. Kerrigan going with that Maelstrom as well. HOTUS prepping, hiding in the bushes as the shrine quickly approaches. Dahaka keeping Thrall a bit busy, which is an interesting choice. Dahaka will be able to burrow down here quite immediately. Thrall will have to catch up a bit, but is going to have to soak that top lane and take out that camp before being able to come down here. Watson going on to Adden, who's able to flip over. Lightning Breath does come out, along with the Purification Salvo. Jub ends up being silenced in the middle of everything, but the members of Modo Miracle are incredibly low. Malfurion is the first go down. Ghost Dunk backing up, waiting for that trait to kick in so he can heal. Two members on the side of Modo Miracle. I'm surprised that they are sticking around in this fight. The Earthquake ends up coming out, slowing Anna just a bit. Zombie Chris trying to block, but Watson with the charge gets the Hanzo down with the flip. Zombie Chris also going to fall in this fight. Ghost Dunk is left to soak that lane. The members of Heroes of the United States able to focus now on this shrine and get one for themselves. Members of Modo Miracle are up, but they will not be able to defend this in time. And a Mortar Punisher going to the side of Heroes in the United States. Thrall and Tassadar splitting off to soak, get themselves level 13. If Heroes in the United States can get level 13 while this Punisher is still alive, they will be able to immediately follow up with a lot of punishment onto Modo Miracle with that talent spike. So we'll have to see how they end up playing that out. This fort most definitely will fall. We'll have to see how far Heroes of the United States will have to push this. Members are actually going to end up rotating in this siege camp, prepping for additional pressure once this Punisher has fallen. Modo Miracle doing their best to chunk down this Immortal as fast as possible. Hanzo able to help out with that a bit. Hanzo's known a bit for that chunkin'. Marad all by themselves trying to defend this mid lane. Not too much Kerrigan's gonna be able to do by herself. Pressure being built up again by Heroes of the United States. Dahaka ends up biting the dust against Thrall up in top. And that is 2 levels of a lead that Heroes of the United States now has. There is still no level 13 on the side of Modo Miracle, so they can't really engage in a fight without it being incredibly risky for them. So they're simply trying to roam around, soak up this pressure that Heroes of the United States is placing on them in the form of camps, and sing together as a group. There's not too much they can do individually. There's not enough damage without the Kerrigan for rotation. Kerrigan can't be too much by herself. So I like this grouping of 4 that Modo Miracle is keeping up with at this point. Lightning Breath ends up coming out. Sean Sheep looking low. Purification Salvo is out. Sean Sheep able to survive from that. Stay a while, and this one was also used. So 2 for 1 in terms of heroics coming out. We're still dealing with this camp in the bottom lane. While the rest of these teams simply continue to skirmish a little bit. Keep an eye on each other. Rotating down. 13 is finally grabbed on the side of Modo Miracle. They've had it for a little bit. 16 is getting even closer for their opponent, so there is a very small window of time in which Modo Miracle can safely take a fight. There is a damage boost, obviously, with that difference in levels. They're going for it. They know they have to make something happen now. Kerrigan goes out, but the combo ends up missing on Watson, who ends up charging Zombie Chris afterwards. Modo Miracle still pressing their opponents a little bit, but decide to back off. And we're not able to make anything happen, not to confirm any kills, which is not what they really needed from that engagement. They needed to give them something to survive this level deficit just a little bit longer. With 16 quickly approaching for Heroes in the United States, it's going to make getting the next Punisher even harder for Modo Miracle. So stuck trying to find an engagement. 416 finally hits. Maelstrom ends up coming out. The stuns, everything is coming out. 2 members end up immediately falling from Heroes in the United States. Make that 3, even with that Earthquake. Hanzo is going to end up going down as well. The Lightning Breath ending up making Diablo a bit vulnerable there. But Ghost Hunt is launched into the towers, ends up taking a lot of shots, but survives. And that is 3 members of Heroes in the United States down. And that was the makeup engagement that they needed from that last one. They waited for the right opportunity. Even though 16 was there for their opponents, ever so briefly, they were able to get some kills before it really hit, which now gives them the opportunity to start on this shrine without fear of another team fight. However, the 3 down members from Heroes of the United States are returning, so they have to make quick work of this or get 16. Dahaka is soaking in this bottom lane immediately, trying to make up that experience to get 16 for their team. But the 5 members of Heroes of the United States now finally at the shrine. Modo Miracle is going to have to step back for a bit, wait till 16 hits. Heroes of the United States already have made up that deficit in Skeletal Defenders and are quickly making work of this shrine. 16 is not yet here. Watson's trying so hard to make sure Zombie Chris isn't able to get that 16. 33 skeletal defenders already on the side of Here's the United States. I think this is going to go over to them unless Modo Miracle can make a miracle happen, which perhaps that was it. Phoenix ends up being focused and taking down Jub Jub, looking incredibly low. The Root ends up saving their life for now, but Kerrigan goes in onto the leap, and can she finish the job? She is trying so hard. Lightning Breath coming out from Monson as well. Zombie Chris trying to take advantage of that vulnerability. Murad still hasn't been able to kill Jub Jub, by the way. Diablo does finally go down. Modo Miracle holding out and being able to get this Punisher. That was an amazing comeback. I was for sure certain that they weren't going to be able to prevent their opponents from getting those last 7 skeletal defenders, but as soon as 16 hit for them, they were able to make fast, quick work. That was excellent reaction time from them, excellent focusing of targets as well. Root goes on to Watson, trying to get out. The B-steps come out right before they end up falling. This Punisher is getting incredibly low as well. Phoenix shields her down. The silence comes out immediately after and falls as well. Murad trying to maybe get one more combo out, but ends up paying for it. Ends up falling. The members of Modo Miracle now backing up, being able to know that they made some good happen here today. They are showing they've got teeth. It doesn't matter if their talent's out. They will strategically wait it out until they're able to and immediately turn around and make you pay. Now I'm going to focus on getting a bit more pressure. Dahaka has returned to soaking in that top lane where the next shrine will be. This will be a late game Punisher. Now neither team has really made too much headway in that top lane. So it's pretty dead even in terms of advantage. Dahaka's going to try to soak a bit, make sure that lane's a bit more pushed out in Modo's favor before that starts. Here's the United States focusing on this mid lane, trying to clear this out. Ghost Hunt hiding in the shadows. All members of Modo Miracle spying. Here's the United States knows something's up, ends up backing up. They're going to go grab their top camp members here. Modo Miracle saw that retreat, are now going to focus on the siege camp and steal it away from their opponents. Tacit are backing up, knowing that they don't want to get ganked for being out in a lane. So there's pressure from both teams on all sides of the map, a little bit more in favor of Modo Miracle. Brawl being able to push this lane back into Here's the United States' favor. Level 20 coming a bit closer now for Modo Miracle. They've been able to turn their level deficit into a level advantage. But it's not so far off from Here's the United States. It's not so much that they can't make it up before the shrine really hits. They're just trying to clear this camp as soon as possible. This Drowner spying for information. Gonna retreat. Here's the United States trying to make up that experience by taking this mid fort, which they should be able to do without any issue. Members of Modo Miracle trying to see if they can collapse on that. But the retreat from Here's the United States. Far too quick. Far too swift. Now level 20, we were in this situation before, so close for both teams. I think they're both just gonna wait it out until that 20 hits before they really start the shrine. Zombie Chris checking for vision, making sure nothing fucking's going on. Lightning Breath is going to immediately come out, zone away from those minions. Interesting use of it though. I think it was a bit premature. Although denying a little bit of that experience from Modo Miracle can be considered worth it. but they are going to get level 20 in just a bit. And they know that, so they're going to start the shrine and see how much of it they can complete before their opponents get level 20. Perhaps even try to take out a few of their members before they really have the opportunity. We got level 20 coming out for a Modo Miracle. Watson with the charge onto Zombie Chris, but not too much follow-up. Tongue comes out onto Watson. Adon coming up from behind to poke a little bit. Now, level 20 for Heroes in the United States, they know they need to go in, and they're trying to surround on all sides. Archon immediately ends up coming out, followed up by the Earthquake. Purification Salvo, I ended up getting interrupted, it looks like. Thrall ends up going down as he was separated from the rest of his team in the back. There's the Purification Salvo, but the silence coming out as well isn't enough to prevent all these members of Heroes in the United States from falling in this fight, with Phoenix being the lone survivor. This Mortar Punisher will now be in favor of Modo Miracle, who should take this fort down no problem. And with how long these revival timers are at this point in the game, likely going to be able to take this keep as well. There is a little bit of pressure building on their own bottom keep as well, so they're going to have to push incredibly fast and incredibly hard. Sidestepping with the gate, avoiding the turrets, the towers altogether, focusing on this keep. This Punisher still very healthy as well. And Modo Miracle positioning to end this game right here, right now. 4 members still waiting to revive on the side of Heroes of the United States. Blaze is doing what they can to cause some damage. Purification Salvo comes out, but so does stay a while. And listen, this core is already halfway gone and going fast. The Punisher is still incredibly healthy. And that is going to be GG in favor of Modo Miracle. That was incredibly impressive as well. I agree. Probius. Let's take a look at the summary here for this game. We talk about that. 13 kills for Modo Miracle. And unlike our first game between Bad Manners and ReGen Blue, that was incredibly one-sided in the beginning and then incredibly one-sided later on in the game, this was pretty even. There's a lot of back and forth going on through that entire matchup. Kerrigan putting out a respectable amount of damage. A lot of damage coming out from Andrew on that Tassadar as well. So overall, being able to have that global presence with that Dahaka, being able to soak lanes, contribute to the shrine, ended up paying off quite a bit. The Thrall Phoenix combination, there seemed to be an interesting set of timing with the Earthquake and the Purification Salvo, where it wasn't as immediate as usual. Usually you see the Earthquake coming out first, followed by Purification Salvo, but there were a couple times where it wasn't necessarily played out, and whether or not that was intentional because they were going for a different strategy or simply because there was a communication issue, that combination not landing as often as we would have expected. But admirable performance coming out from Heroes of the United States. So congratulations to Modo Miracle. You will move on to the round of 16. Speaking of which, let me refresh and pull up the bracket for everyone at home so we can see what has transpired elsewhere in this tournament. So looking at this, let's see, earlier today, we had ReGen Blue against Bad Manners. Trying to find where they ended up in the bracket. ReGen Blue will have to face off against Order of the Sleeping Dragons later on today after that match. And the winners of this Modo Miracle will go up against Team Name Change, which should be an exciting match. But next up for us here on this channel, we are going to be casting Blasting Burrows versus Divine 9. which should be a very, very interesting matchup for sure. And knowing that information, let me actually prep some stuff for that. Probius, any final words on that match about anything else? Very well said. All right, people. I am going to take a quick break before our next game, starting at 2:30 Pacific, which is 5:30 Eastern. So we'll see you all in a bit for Divine 9 versus Blasting Burrows here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for supporting these teams. It's greatly appreciated. This is the ReGen Invitational number 2, presented by the Nexus Gaming Series. I, again, am CatPeach, and I will see you in a bit.